Hello beautiful people of the world, I hope you are having a lovely day. Welcome back to my channel and I hope you're excited for another video. This video is going to be a little bit different to what I've produced in the past. It's going to be more of an inspirational talky video, so I hope you enjoy this as well. So I'm not going to ramble on any longer, so let's jump straight into this video. So as you may or may not know actually, this month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm not sure if that's just in the UK, but it's Mental Health Awareness Month. And right this week is Mental Health Awareness Week. So I thought I'd make a video about that because it's something that is really close to my heart. It's something that I've personally been through, people around me have been through, and yeah, it's something that is always an important topic of conversation for me and something that I always want to try, if I can, to help in some way with. So, as I said, this video is going to be quite talky. I'm going to be talking to you and hopefully in the comments below you can respond in some way. So this video is kind of to empower in some way and also to kind of just give you guys a space just to kind of hear something that's about something that you may or may not be going through and potentially even educate some people on like what it could be like or what it is like. If you don't, obviously if you're not going through it, you can see someone and cast a judgment on them like they're just doing it for attention or anything like that. But realistically, until you've been in that kind of situation, you really can't make that judgment because you have no clue what it's like, what it feels like. And yes, I do agree in most cases that people, we all do it. We all have to put on like a brave face sometimes to like get through certain situations. But the fact of the matter is, when you're going through something that's happening right up here in your mind, putting up that wall that we all put up a lot of the time, pretty much every day, putting up that wall can be extremely difficult. And a lot of the times we really shouldn't be putting up that wall, whether you have something going up here that's painful or just generally. Sometimes, and a lot of the time, that wall that we put up is usually like a protection and a barrier, but also it can stop, as well as it stopping things from getting in, it can also stop you from getting out. The kind of encouragement and inspiration for you all is sometimes just let that barrier down. I'm not talking about letting your guard down, that's something completely different, but that barrier that we put up sometimes just to pretend that every single thing in our life is perfect, every single thing in our life is okay. Sometimes, with the right person, because you can't do this with everyone, but with the right person, you will need to let that wall down, because if you don't let that wall down, you will keep all of those feelings and thoughts and emotions deep in your life, in your brain, and they will compress and compress and compress and compress until all that will happen is it will just explode. And that is usually when something drastic happens. So something like suicide, something like self-harming, something like anything like that, or even an outburst of an argument, or this outward cry that sometimes we can't control. And yeah, you never really know sometimes how much a simple act of kindness can really help someone. On Tuesday on my Instagram, I was scrolling through and I saw a post by the Rise Up movement, and so recently they actually got in contact with me and it was like, we love what you're doing, we'd love you to get involved in our movement. So me being me, with everything and every person who gets in contact with me, I checked them out. I looked through their social medias and websites and all of that, and I was personally inspired so much by the content that they were putting up that I wanted to get involved. So as well as this being a video about mental health, this is also a video about why I rise up. So there are many reasons why personally I rise up. I rise up for different things. I rise for young people to realise that they are powerful, they have so much potential. Young people, all people, we all have a purpose, and I hope that in the success that I gain, that I will never forget where I've been and where I've come from, because I hope that my struggle will help someone else who's going through something similar to realise that they can rise up out of this situation. Philippians 4 verse 13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. But my main reason for rising up is to show people that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. No matter what you're going through, there will always be a light at the end of the tunnel. Personally, for me, God has been the light at the end of my tunnel. When I was going through my darkest times, when I was going through depression, and when I was extremely suicidal, the only thing that really saved me was God. And I know it's so easy to say when it's so easy just to say like, yes, God saved me and everything. But if you were stood in my shoes in that moment, the only thing I could categorically tell you that saved me in that moment was God, because there was nothing else. I was in the room on my own. My parents actually didn't know what I was doing at the time. No one was around, so it wasn't as if anyone else was there to help at that time. And it wasn't like my mind in that moment was filled completely to the brim of dark, depressing, horrible thoughts. And that oh, this is really hard actually. I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel at that point, until it took God to come into that situation and just shine that tiny little bit of light. And that tiny little bit of light stopped me from doing something that I know I would have regretted. I know that I wouldn't be here, guys. I wouldn't be speaking to you right now, and this is probably one of the most personal videos I'll probably ever make, and I really hope that in some way this connects with someone. So yes, as I was saying before I got emotional, we collectively, not just young people, not just people in education or people in churches or other religious places, we all collectively across the board need to make it part of our daily conversation about what's happening with mental health, because there are so many people around us going through it. I'm pretty sure I read the other day that 1 in 3 people have some kind of mental health, something wrong with their mental health. That's a lot of people. I'm pretty sure that's the same statistic as cancer. That's something that we need to all be speaking about, no matter what religion you are, no matter like what stage of your life you're at. It can affect anyone and everyone. So with it affecting 1 in 3 people, the likelihood is in your household there is someone in your house that could potentially be going through it, and therefore we all need to be sensitive to this issue. We all need to be open to talking about this issue as well, because obviously, okay, let me give you an example. So in typical black Christian households, things like this don't always get talked about. I'm not necessarily saying from me or like my household, because we're a pretty open family, but people that I know who happen to be black and Christian and growing up in the household that they've grown up in, it can be extremely difficult to speak to parents or like family members about something that's going on up here. And that's an issue. That's a really big issue. And obviously it's not just in the black Christian community, because that's only like a small section of the world. It goes on everywhere, within every religion, race, everything, yeah. Just everything. It goes on everywhere, guys. So this is not only, this is such a global issue, as well as it being this personal issue for me. It's an issue that will affect you watching, it will affect your friend, it will affect your family members, because if it's specifically just you going through it in your household, there's going to come a point where it's going to affect your mum, your dad, your brothers, your sisters, and it may not like directly impact them. Like, they might not directly have something wrong with their mental health, but it will affect them in the way that they'll be constantly worrying about you, or in ways like that. And say for instance you did commit suicide, it will affect them in that way. The reason I bring that up specifically is because, you know, the series 13 Reasons Why on Netflix. It's one of my favourites, and it's also one of the favourites of my mum. Me and my mum, we watched 13 Reasons Why together to get a better understanding of each other. Because when I was going through my phases, phase is the wrong word, okay, not phases, not a phase. When I went through my time of depression and suicide, my parents didn't necessarily understand why I was going through it, or why I didn't speak to them about it. And watching 13 Reasons Why really helped not only my mum to come to terms with and to understand why and how I went through what I went through, it also helped me to come to terms with how what I went through affected my parents, and affected like how they kind of saw me, and how like after that happened they were so much more protective of me, and not in like a bad helicopter parent kind of way, in the way that they would ask me, am I okay, but then would follow up with, yeah, but are you like okay generally, like are you okay up here, are you okay all over, like pain and stuff. They would ask me those questions, and at the time I did think, why are they asking these questions, like why? But honestly, it helps so much, because it helped me to come to terms with the fact that I am going through something. I didn't necessarily know completely all the time that it was depression, but I was going through something, and as hard as it was to go through, I am so grateful that my parents were there to help me as well. So thank you, Mum and Dad, I know you're watching, because I know like you're in the room around me currently, so you'll be watching. The reason I brought this issue to you guys is because it's something not only close to me, but it's close to so many people around the world, and we need to keep this conversation going. If you've seen on my Instagram at the start of this week, I was using a hashtag which was VFU join the conversation. If you guys want to join the conversation, enter this hashtag into your social media. Obviously if you've got like a private account I can't see it, but if you've got like a public account then I can see it, and we can start this conversation. If I can offer any advice or expertise to you guys, just let me know. If you need it, just let me know. Use that hashtag or comment down below. Also on my blog, Victoryforu.wordpress.com, will also be different blog posts about mental health, and probably some ways on how to combat that. And also, if you've been aware on my Instagram, I've also been doing some stuff about positive affirmations. It might just be me, it might just be a small group of people who find positive affirmations really useful, but I find them extremely useful. I start my day with them, I go to bed with them. Positive affirmations are so helpful. Again, this is something that even before I started using positive affirmations, people would say to me, oh yeah, use positive affirmations, in a time when my mind was the darkest place on earth. And oh, no focus, come on, focus camera, there we go. My mind was the darkest place on earth, and when someone comes along and says, yeah, just say this positive affirmation, it'll be fine, it did not compute up here. And if you're watching this and you're in that situation that I was in, and I'm saying about positive affirmations, and you're sat there just like, I understand that it's not going to compute up here, but if you feel like it could potentially help you at some point, it's definitely something good to do, because by saying those positive affirmations, it becomes a habit. So I was reading, there's some research, a new research, that it takes 66 days for something to become a habit. So if you are going to say for 66 days, I'm the worst person in the world, therefore, you're going to start to believe that you're the worst person in the world because it's become a habit over those 66 days. However, if you fill up those 66 days with positive affirmations such as, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, or I am worth it, or my life is worth living, therefore, by the end of those 66 days, you're going to get to a place where you believe those things and life will seem a lot less dark. So that's kind of what this video was about today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, as I said, it's very talky. If you like videos like this, let me know, because then I'll do more of them. And I'll just sit in my living room, just talking to the camera. But thank you so much for all you guys watching. Really hope you've enjoyed this. As always, please leave a like down below, subscribe and comment to let me know what you thought of this video. Thank you so much. If you want any help with anything mental health wise, I'm going to put some links down below and telephone numbers to like Samaritans and Childline and places like that, which hopefully can help you guys if you're going through tough situations, and also some websites that can help with not necessarily positive affirmation stuff, but can help you with coming to terms with what depression is or what anxiety is or things like that if you guys need help. So it'll be in the description down below. So thank you guys so much for watching. It's been emotional. I'm Victoryforu, and I hope that you'll be victorious every day. God bless. Bye bye.